Hello everyone, and welcome back to building a podcast app in Django. Today, what I would like to do is implement some sort of episode interaction table so that if you have started playing an episode, we track that information. We can display it back to the user, so when they log back into the app, they can see which episodes they've listened to, they can track progress, potentially mark things as played, and also favorite episodes as well. So this will be the basis for kind of future work that I'm planning to do. We can have views for like favorites and in progress episodes. And yeah, to do that we're going to need some sort of table. So just auto reload this stuff, close this. Okay, so let's jump into my models and crack on with a new table. I'm going to call this episode interaction, I think, and we're going to have a user. In fact, I think I can just steal this here. For the most part, I can steal this because it looks kind of like a subscription. And instead of a podcast, we're going to have episode. This is going to be episode here, and unique together is going to be episode. And then here we can just return the episode title. But we're also going to need some kind of additional metadata. What I would like to include is the progress. Just going to be models, integer field, nope, just integer. Come on, completion. There you go, integer field. But this is not required, so we can say blank is true, null is true. We can say whether you favorited it, which is a boolean field. We can say default for this is false, and then also whether you've listened to it already. Okay, that all looks pretty good, so let's go ahead and try and make a migrations podcasts. If we try and migrate this, okay, that all looks good. So I think the next thing I want to do is just head over to my admin, import episode interaction, and we can do some copy paste, episode interaction and episode interaction admin. So now if we go to our admin page, we should have episode interaction. So what I can do here is say for my current user, I'm just going to select this episode. I think this is the very first one. Let's just double check. We say podcast objects. Sorry, episode objects at first. Is how juries work. Okay, that's cool. And let's say this is a favorite and we've already listened to it. We'll leave progress for the time being. Okay, that's cool. So I think the next thing I want to do is just be able to query for this data. So I was playing around in the terminal earlier, and I think if this is the podcast this is associated with is How Stuff Works, I think. Oh, yeah, so if I say podcast objects first, sorry, stuff you should know, not How Stuff Works, and then I can say what is it? I can say, yeah, this episode set. I can get all the interactions like this. No, I can say episode set like this, how juries work, and then I can say something like episode interactions or episode interaction set dot all, and that gives me all of the episode interactions. Do I like this name? Maybe I can say in models I can say reverse equals something. Can I do this? Yes, I can say related name. It's going to be interactions here, and then if I go back to my terminal here and reload this, then I can do what I was trying to do earlier. I can say find me all the interactions for the very first episode, and that's going to return me all the interactions. The problem is multiple people can have interactions with this episode set, so I need to tweak this slightly. So I can use what's called like an annotation inside prefetch to only return specific interactions for the current user. So let's say this is my user here, pretend it's just like the request.user. So then we can say podcast.objects.prefetch related. You can see here's one I made earlier. Is that correct? That's not correct. Let's just say podcast.objects.prefetch related. And we're going to prefetch the, oh no, this was correct, the episode set, the interactions where the user is the current user. Okay, let's have a look at this then. Prefetch is not defined, so let's import prefetch. Okay, so that gives us our first podcast, and then we can say look at the first episode and then find the user interaction, and that gives us the very first user interaction. So there's user interactions, and then there's also just regular interactions, which will give us all the interactions kind of irrespective of the user. But what we've done here is we've kind of annotated this episode set here and given it an additional attribute, which is the user interaction. So we can grab something like this and put this in our view. So if we go to our views and go to podcast detail, you can see here we already have all this code. So I can say delete you, join you, and delete you. In fact, we don't need any of this either. So what does this look like? It's wrapping the line weirdly for me. Podcast prefetch. Okay, so instead of this annotate, we can probably just say prefetch related here. Ooh, prefetch related dot annotate, and then all inside here we can say delete all of you, and then inside here paste you. Okay, so this should work, providing I replace this with self.request.user. And then how do we test that this works? Well, we go to the podcast detail partial, and inside here, inside the episode list, inside each row, maybe we can do something like, what can we do? The episode interactions first, and this will just show if they have any interactions. So if I go to here, which doesn't seem to work. Okay, so prefetch is not defined. DB prefetch. And just hard reload that. Prefetch. Episode interaction is not defined. Okay, we're getting there slowly but surely. Episode interaction. Oh, what's going on here? Cannot import episode interaction from. Of course we can't, because that's the wrong one, isn't it? Importing from my models, which is further down. There you go. Yep, Matt's happy. Okay, click that. Related manager is not subscriptable. Let me have a look. Where is this happening? This is blowing up in the template. Interesting. Maybe this instead of interactions, we need user interactions. Is that correct? Let me just double check. Go here. Okay, that seems to work, but it's not really showing anything. Why is it not showing anything? Maybe if we just completely hard refresh this page. We definitely edited this one, this how juries work, so a bit confused as to why that isn't showing. Got our TV episode set. Get the interactions. With interactions, call the current user. We're going to use user interactions. Podcast detail. Episode. It's not plural, isn't it? It's just user interaction, maybe? What did I call it in the view? Yeah, the user interact. Maybe I should call this user interactions. It's unlikely they're going to have multiple, but because it's a list, let's keep it as interactions. Let's refresh this. Okay, cool. So that has returned an extra bit of information there. So I think we can do stuff inside the template. So we can say something like, with interaction is going to be the episode, user interactions. It's going to be the first one of these. And we can maybe say end with. Then we can say if there is an interaction, then we're going to render certain things like what can we do here? We can say interaction favorite or interaction listened. So now if we refresh this page, we should see true. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, maybe we can conditionally render like a little star. Let's have a look in Bootstrap. Where was the documentation I was at earlier? Bootstrap. Let's say icons. Let's say star. So maybe if you favorited it, we can show a little star. Let's give this a go. So we can say if interaction favorite, and if, then we can show a little star. What happens there? Okay, that's cool. Nice. Listened. Maybe we can use listen to kind of conditionally highlight this. So I think I want to actually get rid of some of the link styles here, and I think I've done that on another page. Let's just look at the podcast detail page. Podcast. Is it no, it's the subscription page. And I think these links have text decoration none, so I also want that inside here. We can say class equals text. No? Okay, it needs to be here. Text decoration none. If we go back here, and then we kind of maybe want to conditionally make the text a different color if you've listened to it. So let's just have a look at Bootstrap. Docs. Let's have a look at text. Is there like a color here? Text secondary. Maybe we can use that. So we can say, we want to change. Let's stick this with out here. Interaction.favorite. Can I just say if interaction.favorite end if? Will that break? Let's have a look. It might break because we don't have an interaction. It will say non-property of blah blah blah. Okay, that seems to work. And then we can say maybe text secondary, if that's the case. Oh, sorry, not if favorite, if listened. Yeah, we want text secondary. Refresh you now, so this should be a different color. Okay, cool. So that's not like highlighted anymore. Not looking great, but maybe we can improve on this. I think also I want to use like a list group instead of a table. We're not really benefiting from the table at all. So, but I would like one without borders. So maybe we can use something like this instead of a table. So I think let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this and get rid of this. And we don't need this table anymore. Okay, so instead of that, we can say UL, and then for each of these, let's wrap. This is a link here. Let's just wrap each one of these in like a list class group item, maybe, and see how this looks. Class is going to be list group item. Let's see how this looks. Okay, that looks a bit better, but we don't have like the table headings anymore. I'm not sure that's really that important. And maybe we can move this star over to the right. So let's have a look how they do this. I'm pretty sure there's an example of how they float pills to the right. This is a badge. Okay, so we just said display flex, justify content between. Yeah, we probably just want that exactly. So on the far left we have this like anchor tag, and then on the far right we should have the star if it exists. So let's give that a go. Okay, so that is there. If you've played it, it's going to look like that. If you haven't played it, it's going to look like that. I would like to perhaps show some more contextual information here as well about like the episode length.
On Queen Charlotte?
Or whether it's like currently in progress. So maybe we could think about how to do that. But for the time being, I'm kind of happy with this. Maybe we can implement like a favorite. So if you've not got a favorite, let's try and render a star that is not filled in, so one of these. So how can we do that? So if you have an interaction, we don't have an interaction that's sort of implicitly we can infer that you can't have favorited it because you don't have an interaction there. So we can say by star. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at this. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so all the episodes you haven't favorited. So how can we get this when you click it to make a request to the favorite thing? Maybe we can just cheat and use HTMX because I don't want to have to use like a form to post each of these. And maybe if you had JavaScript disabled, it does like some fallback thing where it redirects you to a new page. That would be easier than rendering like a load of forms with post. Yeah, I'm not sure how we would do this with JavaScript disabled. So let's try and do HTMX first. So let's say hx. Oh gosh, what can I use as an example for here? Let's just look at the HTMX documentation, and hopefully that will inspire us. Okay, so hx post. Let's say favorite. hx trigger is going to be on click, and we're not going to do anything afterwards. So it's kind of just like, oh, we do need to do something. We do need to change like the entire row. Oh gosh, this might be tricky. Or do we? Or can we just change the color of the star? Maybe we can just change the color of the star and optimistically update things. Let's not worry about that for the time being. Let's just get favorites to work kind of on click. How can we include data in this form? I am not too sure. Or maybe we can just URL encode everything. So maybe for the current episode, we'll have to do that. We'll also have the current user, I hope. So let's just say, and episode, let's say and ID question mark ID is going to be episode dot ID. Okay, let's give that a go. And I think if we click this now, it should blow up because this doesn't exist. So we click U and look at our console. Yeah, it's going to say 404 because that doesn't exist. And here we have a post for a thing that doesn't exist. So let's go to URLs, podcasts, and we can say subscribe, unsubscribe. We want like a favorite, views, favorite, name, favorite, and inside our views, up here, kind of similar to these, I think we can say favorite. So it's going to be a post request. Just add a breakpoint here, and see what we have available to us. What did we call it? Inside our podcast detail, we just called it ID. So maybe we don't need this. We can just do slash favorite slash episode ID, and then make it so the episode can match on this. So we can say inside views, we can say request, and here the ID, and then in URLs, podcasts, we can say favorite slash, oh, let's just do it like this, the UUID PK, and maybe this needs to be PK. Okay, I do not expect this to work. Post, oh, require post, let's see, no complaints there. So when we click it, hopefully it will make a request to the right place. Click. Got 403. What does that mean? Did it not hit my breakpoint? 403 HTTP means forbidden. Did we not make a post request? We did make a post request. That's weird. And we've got require post here. Am I dreaming? URLs. Favorite, views, favorite. What happens if we get rid of you? Refresh. Post. Status code. This gives me a bunch of stuff. Post request here is forbidden. Oh, CRSF token missing. It would help if I included those. How do I do that in HTMX? Because this is a post request. So maybe it does need to be inside like a little form. Getting complicated. Let's have a look. Django HTMX. CRSF. No. CR. Let's just have a look at this. Tips. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, no way. You can do this? No way. If this works, I'll be amazed. Base. So where's this inside body? This does not seem particularly safe, but let's just roll with it. Refresh. And click. 500. That's probably because I messed around with this and got rid of PK. I'm hoping anyway. So it's refreshed. Yes! We've hit the breakpoint. I've never been so happy to hit a breakpoint before. So what do we have on here? We have request.post. There's no data. But we do have PK, which is great. That's all we need actually. So we can say, what is it going to be? Episode.objects.get PK, and then we can create like a new episode interaction based off this. So I think we can say episode interaction.objects dot create all? Is it like a create, update or create, get or create? We just want to create. What happens if it already exists? Let's do get or create, and then the episode PK is going to be this, and the user is going to be, do we have the user? Request.user. We don't have the user. This could be a problem. Request.user. Let's just see what happens with this. And then return. We don't want to return anything. We can maybe like a redirect. Redirect to the let's say interactions verse the interaction.episode.podcast detail page. Alright, I'm not sure what's going to happen there if we don't have a user. We might need to pass in that extra information potentially, which is not the end of the world. We go click, status error, not null constraint failed, episode ID. I gave you an episode ID. Or do I have to say this instead? Let's refresh. We'll get there eventually, folks. Click. 500. Constraint failed. No, not like this. Podcast episode interaction episode ID. What's gone on here? Creating an episode interaction with the episode. Oh, it's not episode underscore ID. It's straight up episode ID, right? I'm being silly. It's just episode ID. It's going to be the PK of the episode. Here we go. 5th time lucky. 500. Okay, sweet. We're on to the next bit. So the interaction has no attribute episode. Are you sure? We don't actually. Do we need to do this? Does it have no backref here? So the interaction, it does have episode. Look. Oh, hold on. Is this because get or create returns a tuple? I bet it's because it does. Let's have a look. I think it's like say Django get or create. Get or create. Yeah, so it returns whether it was created. So created. We don't care about that. So confident that will work now. He says. Here we go. Clickety click. Where did it go? Oh no. We don't have a star here anymore. It's weird. We'll click that. Whoa! So it's tried to replace all of the inner HTML. That is funky. Why has it done that? Perhaps because we haven't provided a target? Let's think about this now. When we click this, I see. So here we're returning a redirect to here. Okay, so maybe inside our podcast detail we can just say hx.target equals page. Now what happens if we do this? I will be so amazed if this does what I expect. Except we're missing stars here. Why is that the case? Let's see if it's creating our interactions properly. Admin episode interactions. Alright, so here's why. Because we have an interaction, but it's not favorited and it's not listened. So it doesn't render anything. So here we also need an else where we have this that is also this. There's some redundancy here. Maybe we can fix this? Do we need this if interaction? What happens if we just type? What happens if we just have this? Does it blow everything up? View site. We're about to find out. Okay, that seems to work. So now we click U. What's happening? nothing's happening. Because in our view we didn't actually make the favorite, so here we need to say favorite equals true. So no longer is this get or create. Maybe this needs to be update or create. Is that episode interaction objects? Is there an update or create? Yeah, let's do update or create. So now we refresh U. Come on, we should be able to click U and nothing happens because the this episode already exists. That's, yeah, I've created an integrity error for myself there. So if we go here, let's just delete both of you here. Bye bye. And then we go to view site. Let's try you again. Click. Whoa, that worked. Click. It worked. What happens if we click again? Nothing happens. So now we need like an unfavorite. We need to do the reverse of this. So we can say unfavorite, and then here it's just going to be favorite equals false. Do we need update or create? I guess. Let's just see what happens. So then in our URLs, we can say on, and then here we can say copy pasta, and then this is going to be unfavorite. Alright, the moment of truth. Can I unfavorite an episode? Can I? No, I can't. What's going on here? Unique constraint failed. Why? Maybe because it's tried to... Let's look at the documentation for update or create. Do I need to pass it like additional keyword arguments? So here in the example, they're getting a person with these two attributes, and then they're setting first name. So instead of that, I think we need to pass these defaults. So defaults is what you use to update the object. Okay, so let's say defaults equals favorite true. And then here, I guess we need the same, so defaults equals favorite true. That shouldn't be favorite true, that should be favorite false. Spot the syntax bug. Where are we? Line 31. Defaults? I missed the semicolon. Or colon, sorry. Alright. We're in business. Refresh. Can it work? Unfavorite. Yeah. Unfavorite. Favorite? Ho ho ho. That's excellent, that is. So now, hopefully I should be able to implement like some sort of view based on, instead of episodes, we can have the episodes that you've favorited, which would be pretty cool. Kind of offline, I think I'm going to have to think a bit about the implications of throwing this CRSF token in the header, and also a bit about what exactly is going on here in the post request, whether we need the episode ID here or whether we can pass it in some sort of hidden field, or maybe we want like a single episode update, like a RESTful endpoint where we just pass in parameters that we want to change. So then you could potentially handle all of this in a similar way. And also, like, none of this will work if you have JavaScript disabled, I think. So yeah, not too sure what to do about that for the time being. Or will it work if you have JavaScript disabled? Yeah, I don't think it will. But that's something for future Jack to consider. I think in the next episode we can do like a favorite view and maybe do some design tweaks here to make it look a bit prettier, because it still looks kind of ugly. I'm not sure about these blue links. I would like perhaps different coloured text, and maybe we can colour the stars in as well. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one where we'll do a bit of front-endy stuff. Cheers for watching, guys.